Hello, this is Mary Bennett. Our goal today is to become familiar with tacking a sailboat. Tacking is also called coming about. It can be defined as turning a boat's bow through the wind's eye from close-hauled on one tack to close-hauled on the other tack. As the bow turns through the wind's eye, the sails will luff. The sails do cause drag. Until the turn is complete, the sails are then trimmed to a new close-hauled course. It's important to execute the tacking maneuver smoothly, so you'll practice this over time. You want to be as smooth as possible in order to carry out the boat's momentum, and you want to definitely make it through the turn and keep the tack smooth. At the same time the tiller is pushed too far over, it can become a brake. The rudder will act as a brake and it will cut down the boat's forward speed and the boat may lose momentum. So you need to practice a well-executed tack. It's a compromise between turning the boat too slowly, causing an air drag, and causing a too abrupt of a change, causing a water drag. So we'll work on tacking at just the right speed and momentum of movement of sail and movement of helm. So over time we'll work on that. Taking a look at this next picture, we are moving through a tack position, and there are certain duties of each member of the boat, including the terms of the skipper, letting the crew know to get ready by saying stand by to come about. And then the skipper will say ready about, and you as a crew person will say ready. And then when the actual maneuver begins, the skipper will say hard alee, as beginning to move the helm, or helmsily, as the rudder begins to move. So as the crew, we need to keep in mind that the boat is on a close-hauled port tack. The tack is initiated. The crew, we have to cast off the starboard jib sheet. And we have to be careful to throw the turns off the starboard side winch. And the boat is heading toward the wind. The crew will keep the slack out of the port side jib sheet, making sure the starboard side jib sheet will run free and not snag on anything. So this is a time that the crew will practice making sure the sheets will run free and that nothing is near feet or legs or arms and that everyone is free to do their job. As the boat turns past the head of the wind, the crew will still be recovering the slack on the port side jib sheet, but the bulk of the trimming must be delayed until the jib clears the port side shrouds. At this point, though, the crew should wrap at least 1 or 2 turns of the sheet around the port side winch because they won't want to be without that mechanical advantage when the wind does catch the sail. So once the jib is free of the shrouds, the crew is trimming furiously and moving quickly because the trim does become much harder once that sail fills. So the boat is already starting to pick up speed on the new tack. The jib will be luffing a bit as you come onto the wind, and then you'll trim it accordingly. We'll create a video of an on-the-water tack also, but this will just be our technical tacking day. So we'll practice tacking back and forth with a series of tacks, angling to the wind from a close-hauled position, beating toward the windward mark. As we talk also in our racing technique, heading toward a windward mark, we'll get more comfortable with what is an important safe windward mark rounding and how we tack toward the mark and what exactly is the ley line as we get closer to the windward mark. So these are all conversations you'll have over the coming weeks with your skipper. Another thing to point out as we approach the windward mark and we are tacking, that we'll always be comfortable and confident that we will avoid collision when sailing in a group or sailing in a race and tacking toward windward mark. So we'll always be reminded of our rules to avoid collision and also the important points of rounding a mark once you have approached that mark. So we'll constantly review our points of sail, how to tack, how to be most effective, and then also how to round a mark when racing. So keeping in mind, tacking is just one important part of our skill set. You'll be quick and comfortable, and you'll be very familiar with tacking over the coming weeks, and we look forward to working with you. Have a great day. See you on the water.